This is episode 6, a solo episode with me, Tiffany Hinton, and we're going to be talking about intuition and changes and how our path just sometimes totally turns upside down today on Cultivating Guts. Hello, it's Tiffany, and welcome back to Cultivating Guts, a podcast where we discuss gardening, homesteading, living fully, and following our intuition. I am super excited to be back with you guys. I've had a lot of insightful moments over the past week. A lot of them when I was deep in meditation. I've been doing a lot of meditative walking, and some really important topics have come through. There's so much we could talk about. We'll see where this leads us. This is totally an intuitive podcast, and my voice is in and out. There is so much energy moving. We're headed directly into a new moon as well. And so lots of things happening. But yeah, we'll kind of see where it guides us and goes. I have some stuff I want to talk about up front around change and how change can affect you and what you can do to get, to let the change flow through you or allow you to flow with the change versus kind of staying stagnant and in place and trying to we'll get into it. There's so much coming, just out. Like the other day, I was on a 3.5 mile walk, and I almost wanted to just start recording the podcast from my cell phone, but I don't know exactly how to do that right now. So it's like, all right, we'll find a spot where we can do that, and now's the spot. So I'll type in deep and let everything kind of just flow through and come out. If you are on Spotify or Zoom, we have a video podcast. So hello. Yes, new glasses. They kind of have a cat eye. Josie picked these out. They're kind of fun at the moment. I have 4 different pairs of glasses because, as my eye doctor said, I have lazy old eyes and they're not focusing as they should. So depending on the day, I am in a different prescription. It's kind of crazy as you get old. And sometimes I have contacts with glasses on top of the contacts. So here's to holding my vision, right? If you have any questions as we get going, comments, anything about the podcast, make sure to drop into our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tiffany Hinton. I'll pin that link below as well. And I will watch for comments and comment there within a week or so after this podcast comes out. So that would be super amazing. And before we get started, if you could subscribe, rate, and review the Cultivating Guts podcast, send me a screenshot of your review to tiffany@cultivatingguts.com. I will send you a free garden planner course. We use a platform that has online courses and education along with live events. And I understand not everybody can make a live event. Some of you are not even in the Chicagoland area. So with that being said, send us a screenshot of your review of the podcast. What do you think? The good, the bad, the ugly, right? And we will send you a free online garden planning course that you can use even this season. It's not too late to start your garden. It's only the beginning of May. And also, if you're listening and you love something absolutely and you don't want to write the review, you just take a screenshot of the podcast, put it in your stories on Instagram, tag us at I am Tiffany Hinton. I'll get you reposted. And I'm excited to see what you think of today's episode. If there's any big takeaways, aha moments for you, or anything that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same thing. I had no idea. I also want to tell you, I am super grateful for all of you, all of our amazing listeners. We have this core group of dedicated listeners. And when I look at the stats, it's always the same core group. So for you, I'm assuming you're women. You're probably not all women, but thank you so much for being here. This is our 3rd year of this podcast, and it continues to grow. It continues to change and evolve like anything else in our lives. And I am super excited for you and our other amazing listeners for helping us grow the podcast and sharing it with more people. Before we head into the show, here is a quick word from our sponsor. So our sponsor today is Cultivating Guts. And I need to let you know that we have a brand new, exciting little bundle package that I am in the middle of creating with this new moon energy, right? New moon energy is creative energy. And it has just dropped in this week. Like, oh my goodness, everything from me going out and signing up for a spiritual copywriting class that I've been working on to get a new sales page up for this new idea, doing a lot of research around it. And I can tell you that as a podcast listener and an email subscriber, so if you're not an email subscriber, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, yeah, go over to cultivatingguts.com and become an email subscriber, you're going to get first information. You're also going to get access to a bonus that's going to come with this new item that I'm going to drop. So I have a feeling it's going to drop probably the last week of May. We'll see how it fully comes in, but that's what I'm feeling right now. And I don't want to give too much away, but at the same time, I want you to be aware, like, it's all about energetic movement. It's about manifestation and celebrating in ceremonies. And so we're going to put together a Greenwich New Moon bundle with a bonus live event that is going to take place on summer solstice. So that I will get you details for as soon as everything drops. And again, as a podcast subscriber or a email subscriber, you're going to get details first. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's for you. This whole summer bundle that I'm working on. So for you. So excited for it to come together. And it's going to be open for about 7 days, and then it's going to be closed, and those that subscribe and join are in, and those that don't are out for the whole summer. And I think we're going to open it up to 15 people only, just so I have the energy to put into it, and I have the energy to help those women thrive in their manifestations and their grounding and their growth and their journey. So if you're interested, again, jump over to cultivatingguts.com, sign up for our email list, be the first to listen there. And if you're like, wait, I really, really need to know about this, feel free to shoot me a text message and I will text you. If you're one of our inner circle people, you already have my cell phone number. I think all of our past clients do. Text me and I will text you the moment it goes live so that you can go out and hold your spot, because again, it's only going to be open for 15 people. Amazing, incredible package that we're putting together there. So with that, I think we're going to head right into the show. All right. So today's episode is all about intuition, right? These intuitive journeys that we take. Take a few deep breaths with me as we begin to listen to this. So I really want it just to flow out and through me and the message to come. So I'm recording this as we get ready to go into the new moon this coming week. We're within 3 days. So the energy of the new moon is already hitting. And there's already so much change. So we just came kind of off of this big eclipse season, right? And yes, the eclipse season and the eclipse energy is going to create changes for the next 6 months. We know that. But some of the big changes have already kind of dropped. For me personally, many of you know I still hold a corporate job. And for many years, I was like, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that go. And fear, comfortability, like the comfort of having a dedicated paycheck, the comfort of having structure in my life, the comfort of knowing that there's always going to be something there even if my business doesn't make it. There's so much there in the comfort, right? It's comfort. The job isn't a challenge. Really never has been a challenge. I mean, a few weeks last fall it was a challenge, but it comes easy. And it's good money. Don't always enjoy it, if I'm being truly honest. And so if you're listening to this off of a LinkedIn post, you're like, oh my God. But it's the truth, right? And it's not a passion. And I think for many of us, the passions are what bring us joy. The passion is where we live, and our souls are kind of on that soul journey. Like, we are here, if you believe this, I do, we are here for a purpose. We are here to do something to leave the world in a better place than it was when we came. Each and every one of us. It might be something small, as in just being a mother, right? Or being a great aunt to some little kid, and then, or it could be something big. Maybe you have a huge innovation, or you have a huge innovation that just changes the world, like Henry Ford and the automobile. I don't know, right? But every one of us is here for a reason. And it definitely ups and downs, bumps and bruises, and those reasons we learn and we grow and we share our growth journey, and it helps others grow, and it's that ripple effect or the butterfly effect, whatever you want to call it. And all of the changes that we go through redirect us to get back on our path. And we can be stubborn about it, and we can be like, yeah, no, I know that's my path, but I ain't doing that. It's comfortable over here. It's so comfortable, and I just want to be comfortable this life, right? I don't want those challenges. I don't want those things. I don't want to have to overcome anything or have to cry. I just want this comfort. Uh, but you're not necessarily going to have the joy that you experience if you kind of go back to where you're supposed to be on purpose. Where is your soul journey? What's your dharma? Where are you supposed to be going? What are you supposed to be creating, sharing for the world? What are your gifts? Whether they're your spiritual gifts, your universal gifts, like whatever you want to call them. Everybody has gifts, right? And those gifts are here for others, not just for yourself. Like, don't hoard them. Don't lock them away. Don't stick them in your pocket and throw away the key. Like those gifts were given to you because that's how you're going to change the world. I look at myself, and I've never been afraid to speak in public. I've never been afraid to get up in front of 500 to 1,000 people and just start talking without a script. Never been a problem. That is definitely a gift of voice for myself. Now, asked me to get up and like learn a dance last night. I went with my neighbor to a salsa class that she was doing. Oh, no way. I will sit and watch from the sidelines. I am not getting up to dance, which is totally funny. I need to get out of my comfort zone for sure there. But yeah. So these changes that are coming, right, during the eclipse season, I learned that my potential comfort job is going to go away in 2 years or less. I might be early retired, unemployed. I don't know. And everybody in the beginning is like, well, what? Like, what does that mean? Oh my God. I can't even fathom. And I'm like, I am not going to think about it because it's going to happen whether I put too much energy in the what ifs or these paths that I don't know or I don't. It's still, like the universe is going to make the change when it wants to make the change. And I can't change that. Right. So that's like one of the huge things. I think that's a change that's coming. And then as that was being announced, that was actually announced on my wedding anniversary, which is so crazy. And it was also announced on like a 19-year cycle. So our universe makes like these different changes, and we have these 9-year cycles, 7-year cycles, 19-year cycles, right? It's definitely closure. It's definitely like if you think of the God analogy, right? It's like generate, organize, destruct, destroy, generate, organize, destroy. I'm in one of those destroy cycles, at least for that part of my career house, right? It's just what it is. But yet I am in this create when it comes to home and family, and we've done so much creation last year, this year, creating new spaces in our home, creating new herbal gardens, expansion, creating a new chicken run, like creating new products in my business, new things we've launched, like launching the New Moon Circle last June. I mean, it's almost a year and it's still something that I absolutely love. It is a passion. It is one of those things that I know is soul purpose. It is something I am meant to do, whether it's a small group or a large group. Like that, I know is part of my dharma. Helping other women ground, helping other women find their breath, to find their energy, and to go forth with this like exuberance and radiance and being proud of who they are, right? That to me too is like super important. So we recorded a podcast, I feel like a week ago, For those of you out there, and I was on biodynamic gardening because the podcast talks about gardening, homesteading, and then now we're talking like intuition, big pieces of intuition. And in that last week, since I recorded that last podcast, I have done a lot of embodiment practices. So I joined 2 programs this year, and it's super cool. And I was having a little bit of a irony moment yesterday and talking to my husband. And I was like, in the last few years, I've joined masterminds that are $2,500 a year, masterminds that are $3,000 a year. I've went on these trips with these women and in these deep connected like circles for $5,000, and like just the amounts of money, right, that I've put into my own spiritual path and my own journey and my business growth and the evolution that I've taken and the things that I'm able to create. And then in the last 2 weeks, I sign up for 2 things that are each like under $200. And I'm like, and I'm getting so much. So yes, it's about being in the right place at the right time, but it's also about when you are ready, the teacher will show up. And it's also about the mindset. The mindset piece is that these are not cheap. They still take work. I still have to do the work. I still have to pay the money. But I've gotten so much. So Sabrina Lynn Rewilding, she's actually getting ready to do a 3 free challenge. So if you're interested in that, maybe I'll put the link below for that as well. She teaches embodiment practices and works a lot. She may not call herself this. I'm going to call her a shaman. A shaman. She works a lot with the energetic bodies, embodying different wisdom, opening yourself up. And so I joined her Bones program, which is a monthly, it's a container. It's a mastermind type container for spiritual growth and yourself and finding yourself and being your own wise woman, being your whole self, no matter what. Right. And so I do some of that energy work and I'm like, God, where do I not show up as me? There are places I don't. There's places where I totally show up as this is me and welcome to the crazy me and the wild me and my kids call me weird and it's the truth and I love it, right? Join me in my garden. That is fully me. Join me in any of the Little Witches Moon Garden Clubs, fully me. Newman Circles, fully me. Join me with some of the local neighbors, fully me. My chicken politics, that's a whole nother podcast. Fully me. There is no like hiding me. Join me though in a family situation and I'm not fully me. Corporate America, it just depends on the day. Am I me? Am I not me? Am I wearing a mask? It depends on the day. And I always coach people, don't wear the mask, right? I will say I am so much better if somebody says, how are you? I'm honest. I'm not fine. I'm either good, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm excited. I never use the word fine. And there's a whole coaching program from a decade ago where that word is not in my vocabulary because that's nowhere to live. And we could talk about that on a different podcast. But I need to be like fully me all the time. And I know that. And I need to embrace it and not worry about it scaring people or cancel culture or being told that the devil's embracing me. Hell no, he's not. Like that is totally a mindset that people have, and it's a fear and it's dogma and it's the patriarchy and it's just their belief system, and they can mirror it on me all they want, but that's their fear of themselves. It's just what it is. Oh my gosh. And so all of this change, and then I signed up for something that I feel like my sister told me about 15 years ago. It's so crazy. Sometimes my sister is so far ahead of me in business, and sometimes we're on the same path, and there's other times we're totally disconnected. But Leonie Dawson, I was so connected to for years and years, used all her planners, her coaching for goal setting, but never really did any of her business stuff and never joined her academy. She's an Australian who was totally amazing and also very weird, wise woman, out there, fully out there. And like, and so I reconnected based on an email she sent. and I signed up for her academy. And I've been doing a little bit of her program as well. And yesterday I've done 2 of her online courses so far, since I signed up, because they're just like, it's the time to do them. And so yesterday I was working on sales copy for like the spiritual woman, not sales copy for selling a used car, or sales copy for selling a network marketing product, or sales copy for selling the next technical and ingenious product because I'm a white guy, or selling, I don't know, right? There's all these different types of sales copy. I am not marketing to the old white man. I'm sorry if that's racist. I don't mean to be. I'm not marketing to a man at all. I'm not marketing to a masculine community. I am marketing to the feminine, flowing energy who wants to connect with Mother Nature. I am marketing to what one of my so we were on a garden installation 2 Mondays ago. Super fun. Again, passion, right? Doing things you love. I took a PTO day and I went out and installed a garden in 5 hours. It was amazing. Absolutely loved it. And the client's mom was in town and she's like, "Are you crunchy?" And I was like, "Actually, I'm a witch." And she's like, and her daughter goes, "That's why I hired her." And that was so cool to be like, that is what attracted me to you, because her daughter likes to make tinctures, herbal remedies, old school medicine, very, very open-minded, and knew what she wanted when she wanted to plant a garden. She wanted a garden that was going to have perennial medicinal plants, totally organic, gardening with the moon cycles. She wanted all of that. She didn't want traditional farming or industrial gardening, or, like suburban replications of what a garden should look like with rows. She wanted And so that was so cool. And at one point, yeah, I referred to myself as crunchy. I will call myself boho, a hippie sometimes. It's just like who I am. And I just bumped the desk. Sorry, guys. Um, and being able to be who you are, no matter where you are, no matter where you're at, it takes guts, it takes gumption, it takes power, it takes the ability to say, I don't fucking care what you think. And that is another lesson this week that we've been working with probably for about 2 weeks with one of my children, is she's overcome so much in her life already. She has gone through multiple groups of friends. She is one of the most popular kids in her class. And yet there are people who tell her she's lying, or tell her that, whatever, that she's got these, and they do it via text message. And I'm like, trying to tell her, like, they're mirroring their own fear. They're mirroring something they think about themselves, and they don't want to say it out loud. It's like their subconscious, this is how our bodies work and how our minds work. Our subconscious will, when we know that we're doing something, find everybody else that's doing it and tell them they're doing it, when reality says we need to look in the damn mirror, right? And so I was explaining this psychology thing to her a week ago. And then this Saturday, yesterday, she was in tears again. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And she was talking about it. And I'm like, "You tell that girl there's no more of this text messaging. If she wants to have a conversation, you do it in person. If she's going to say something, you say it to their face. Always. If you got a problem with somebody, you go find that person and you have a conversation, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Always and ever. You don't put it in a text message and hide behind that. That's being a coward and being small." And so trying to coach, these junior high girls into being strong, powerful women takes a lot of energy out of me. Oh my God. Brings out a lot of cuss words too. And it's just what it is. I'm just like, oh my fucking, this is ridiculous. Like, I think we all have to learn those lessons as kids. And but boy, knowing how to do it when you're 12, 13, 11 versus having to figure out how to do that when you're 40. I wish all girls went through that training. Like, suck it up, buttercup. Go have that face-to-face conversation. If you cry, yell, scream, hit yourself, beat on the ground, it's okay. But don't hide behind a freaking text message, right? Don't hide behind an email. Don't talk about somebody who's not in the room. It's not right. It's just not. Like, if you're going to say it to them, because that's the truth. It's just what it is. And maybe that comes with just being that wild woman and embracing that power and that energy and growing up, right? Oh my gosh, this podcast is right. It's just moving and flowing. So yesterday, I gotta think about this for a minute. Was it yesterday? Hold on. I texted myself something because it dropped down in a meditation, a walking meditation. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with my podcast. Let me find it. Friday. So not yesterday. Friday, I was doing a 3.5 mile walk and I was doing one of the rewilding embodiment practices and like doing the breath work. And so as I'm walking, I'm like, and like visualizing the breath going all the way through me and the energy as I'm walking, like moving. And I asked a question, like, what is the message I need to receive at the moment? And the message that came through was for a seed to be planted in the right place, it has to flow with the wind. For a seed to be planted in the right place, it has to flow with the wind. Now, there's so many things here. Right place, right time. If you're being the creative, you're the one planting the seed, right? And then you're going to grow. You have to change, right? You have to be planted in the right place. You're changing potentially your environment, your location, your friend group. You're changing. Change is happening. And the other part of that was like, it has to flow with the wind. I have to allow the wind of change to pick me up and move me without me trying to say, oh, no, my roots are here. I have to stay here. It's the same thing that I think about, like, and dandelions keep popping up. Like, oh my gosh, almost every day I'm seeing stuff about dandelions on social media. I'm reading about dandelions when I'm reading about Beltane, studying a little bit more about the goddess Bridget and the god Bel and like the connection to the dandelion. And then I think about, like, you take the dandelion and you hold it when it's in seed form and you blow. And as a child, I was taught you do that and you make a wish. That means one of those little seeds, just like in the new moon, one of those little seeds that you wish for blows with your breath, blows with the wind, plants itself and grows. And so take that and think about taking your wishes as we go into the new moon, the things that you really want to happen, and blowing them into the wind and allowing the wind to carry them. You have to release, you have to surrender. You have to be okay with whatever comes. And that's the scary part. That's where the fears come in. And that little seed that you blow will land where it's meant to be, in the right place and in the right time. It may not grow that season. It might have to go through a winter and it might grow in the next spring. It might have to go through 2 or 3 winters for the soil to be pushed away enough or to put on top enough the change for it to gain traction and grow and grow and grow. And so that is such, I'll probably end up putting that quote out on my Instagram page. Oh my gosh, it is such an empowering message that I received through guides and angels in the universe about just as we go through this change, whether it's change that was brought on by the eclipse, whether it's change that's being brought on by something else in your life that is not your choosing, you got to release and you got to be able to flow, be flexible, learn. And I think that's huge. There's so much there. Huge, huge, huge. Oh my gosh. And so if you are one of those people that are like, God, you're speaking to my heart, I so get you right now. I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to pick up my roots, allow my seeds to flow. I'll give you one other place in nature where this happens. So maple trees. When maple trees produce seeds, they produce what a lot of us know as helicopters, right? So if you're in America, they produce these whippoorwills or whatever. And there's actually like a little Pixar movie where I can't think of what it's called right now, but these two souls change bodies. and he's got one of those maple tree seeds in his pocket, and he picks it up and he lets it go and he watches it twirl and twirl in the movie. And it just, oh my gosh. Those maple leaf seeds, when the maple tree feels a change in the environment, maybe it's not getting enough water. It's a drought year. Maybe the soil is no longer supportive of that tree and the tree knows it's dying. Maybe it's got a bug infestation or bacteria. And that old, tall maple tree knows that it's not going to live much longer, but it needs to reproduce. It produces more maple leaf seeds than it ever has in any other year. So it uses its energy that normally it would store in its roots to produce maple syrup and feed the tree in the spring. It uses that energy, that sugar in that tree, to produce more seeds, more seeds, more seeds, more seeds. And then those maple tree seeds, based on their design by God, are like these little helicopters. And when they come off the tree, the wind picks them up and they blow freely in the wind and they get planted, right? And you could end up from one maple tree going through a hardship with a whole forest of maple trees. So if you look at abandoned property, or maybe there was a maple tree in the front yard or the side yard, and 20 years from that time when nobody's lived there, nobody's mowed the yard, there's all these new maple trees growing up. Maybe they're growing up through the roof of the old house. Maybe they're growing up in the driveway. They're growing up all over, right? And a new forest is planted. Walk away with that, whether it's a dandelion or a maple tree. There is change. And the change is important, and you have to be able to just allow it to happen. Release into the wind. Allow your life, your body to embrace these changes. And find your passion. Get back on path. Find your soul purpose. Allow the wind to carry you back. Plant you where you need to be planted. And go out there and create miracles in the world. What do you do with that? All right, you guys. That was so deep. Oh my goodness. Wow. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope that for whoever was meant to hear this, to embrace it, to receive, that you've listened to the podcast, that you have opened your heart and your mind and you've allowed it just to kind of come to you and allow it to sink in and sit for a little while. Share with me what really hit you. Share your favorite part. What did you really receive from this? That's what I'd love to know. Leave me a comment on YouTube. What did you really receive from this podcast? What opened up for you? Put that comment on YouTube, youtube.com/Tiffany Hinton. Just drop it below this episode. If you've got any questions, ask them. Put them in YouTube. I'll get you an answer. I'm here for you, and I'm excited to see your benefits as well. Satnam. Love you guys. All right, so if you love this episode, remember to share it with your friends. Send it to anyone who may love this inspiration, need this information that is about change and finding your purpose and your calling. To get my newest book, our ebook, Biodynamic Moon Gardening, you can visit our website and download it for free. Sign up for our mailing list at www.cultivatingguts.com. That's our free gift for you for being a podcast listener. You can go out and get that ebook. It's got charts in it. It's got graphs. It's got drawing paper. It's got a lot of cool stuff. Also, I want you to know we have a new summer bundle coming out. And if you were listening to the intro of the podcast, I talked a little bit about it. But if you want to be one of the first people to know when I open up the summer package to 15 women, join our mailing list, subscribe to the podcast because I'll put it out on the podcast. And if you already have my phone number, shoot me a text message and I'll text you the minute it goes live because it's going to drop in the next 2 weeks. I can feel it. And it's going to be powerful. And we're going to have this huge ceremony for summer solstice. Like, oh my God. Summer solstice and the full moon are almost in alignment this year. So big ceremony, big festival there. It's going to be fun. And I would love for you to be there. I am super excited to see your own transformations, you guys. I'm here to bring you back to heal Mother Earth. That's my purpose. My mission is to create sustainable gardens. But those sustainable gardens give you, the woman, so much. They give you grounding, they give you connection, they give you the ability to heal the earth while growing food for your family, which then in turn heals your family. It heals guts, it heals so many things. And so I am excited to be here to help you change your family through gardening and connection and just being open to change and transformation. If you are interested in any of our online stuff, you can head over to cultivatingguts.com. All of our online courses are there, along with our live events. We have a monthly live moon circle for women on the new moon, and I have a monthly kids gardening workshop called Little Witches Moon Gardening Club, where they learn about homesteading, gardening with the moon cycles, and the wheel of the year. So super fun stuff there. It is, most of them are taught outside in nature on the homestead, and we get our hands dirty all the time. Um, so with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to y'all soon.